Hey everyone, how's it going? So what am I working on now? Well, I got that 93 Mustang in. Remember the yellow convertible? And this is the one the transmission was smoked on because of the little $5 clip. So anyway, what we're doing now is Jaden replaced the transmission. I'm actually adding the fluid to it, and I got to change the belt. And if you remember, I had said in that video about how the belt was torn up. So check this out. I just noticed something. So here we are, and here's the belt. You see, the belt is off a tooth or something. But here's what I just realized. Notice that? Notice the tensioner? There's the centering pin for the tensioner right there, and it's supposed to be up in there. So something happened. The fact that the belt is not even squealing is beyond me. It's cut into that shield there a little bit, not a big deal. So, but we're going to be replacing the belt. So let me get some tools that I need to do this job. Then we're going to replace that. I got to make sure the fluid level's good, and then we have to fix the throttle body where the linkages. You see where it's popped out down there? I can get my hand around it. This right there, where it goes in there. That's what actually smokes the transmission. With that gone, once this thing gets into fourth gear, there's not enough line pressure, and that'll actually smoke the transmission. So, all right, let's get this belt off of there and let's straighten this tensioner out. Hopefully I can. Hopefully that bolt's not all bent. I don't think it is, but we're going to find out. All right, so we're going to loosen up on the belt here on this tensioner. Amazingly enough, it's actually got tension on it. So let's get this belt off of here. These are one of your easier belts to do. And as you see, it's all scared. It's frayed. It's coming apart. You can't see what I'm showing you, right? Yeah. So now this end here, I'm gonna have to loosen this up. I don't know why this is like this. If somebody left it loose and it just jammed itself. That's what I'm thinking happened. Hopefully this will tighten down. It should. But as you see, I got that locking tab in its right spot. And the bolt doesn't seem bent, because if it was bent when I was doing this thing would walk around, and it's not doing that. Okay, so that's good and tight. So now I'm just thinking somebody left that thing loose at some point and the bolt walked its way out. Yeah, because the tensioner itself feels fine. All right, so we got a new belt here. Hopefully it's the right one. And this is the one thing I hate about new belts. It's like, they're all wonky. That's what I hate about it. It would be nice if they sold belts that weren't all like bunched up like that. So now I'm going to loop the belt around the crank and then the water pump. And it has to go around the power steering pump and the AC. After the water pump, it goes down around the air pump, which is kind of amazing. This actually still has an air pump on it. Air pumps are one of the first things that disappeared on these cars. Because, you know, emissions. People didn't want to mess around and have emissions control, because back then, it really did rob horsepower. There we go. The belt is actually in place. I mean, it was pretty simple. It wasn't that difficult. Yeah, so now everything's all nice and lined up. The belt wasn't even making any noise, which is pretty surprising. So, all right, what I got to do now is, like I said, I'm going to start it up. I got to verify the transmission fluid level, and then we're going to go from there. And I'm going to fix that linkage. Actually, I can fix the linkage first. It doesn't even matter because it's got to be fixed. So, let's put this here. Put these 2 wrenches away. All right, so the easiest way to do this is we're going to take this elbow off with the air inlet. All right, and that's going to give us some access down here to the throttle body. Right there. So how are we going to fix this? Well, let me show you. Hang on a second. So you could put just a bushing in there and snap the piece in place again. But we picked this up from LMC. Is it LMC? Or one of those Mustang places, I can't remember who it was. But regardless, this, I'll put a link in the description for this. This is going to bushing, or add a bushing to the linkage here, this piece, and then you use the clip on the top. So let me set you up. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to be a little distance away. And I'm not sure how well you're gonna see what I'm doing. But we're gonna attempt it and see. Probably not super well. That might work. It might, Rabbit, it might. All right, so from what I can tell, the bushing goes on the linkage like such, and then it inserts up into the throttle body like that, and that was pretty darn simple. And then you snap the clip over top. I think. Yeah, that's how it's got to go, but I have to tension this clip. This clip is spread too far.
See, it was leaking, right? It was leaking from the water pump?
Yeah, it was noisy.
Yeah, well, it makes sense, because half the guys can stay with the car, the other half stayed with this.
All right, so I'm going to have my headlight on too. But here's the clip, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to grab it with a pair of dikes, cutting pliers, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to try to give it a little squeeze if it'll let me. It might not, actually. Okay. Hold on a second. Let me get a different tool. There's a pair of cutting pliers you've probably never seen before. And that, yes, that's how they're designed. And they're designed like that for a special reason. I don't think you can get them anymore, though. I don't think they're available anymore. Any of you know what this is for? I'll let you know at the end of the video, but try to guess what it's actually for. I have mentioned it in the past, because I have used them in the past and told you what they were actually designed for, but I want to see how many of you know. And then we're going to get that back up in place, and we're going to snap the clip over top. At least I hope we are. And this is a little trickier than it looks. Because I can't get that thing to go in. All right. My next special tool if I can find it. I just saw it not too long ago. Where is it? Hold on. Oh, here it is. Found it. This tool here, let me back up. This tool here. I explained this before. It's a clip holder. And what it has is, at the end there, it has a little teeny tiny hook. Like a shepherd's hook. See that? It goes in and it grabs it. Alright, so now, let's see if I can't get this in place without losing it. Ah, there it is. Now, that'll keep that in place. See that now? So now when you hit the gas, that moves that. And if you saw, the adjustment for this was pretty spot on. It was pretty much right where it needed to be. So we're going to leave that alone. If it was, down here too far or up there too far, then we would have had to adjust it. But it's pretty darn close, so we're going to leave it right there. We can always adjust it later, just in case I'm driving down the road and I realize that, hey, you know what, this thing needs to downshift a little earlier or something like that, or the throttle pedal just doesn't feel right, or the throttle engagement in terms of when it downshifts or when it upshifts, stuff like that. You can kind of control that with that. So let's go check the train. Let's go put that hose back on, and we're going to check the training fluid level. In case you were wondering, that was me stepping on the belt that's on the floor. And this car needs that elbow because it's a mass air car. If you didn't put this elbow back on, it would probably stall and everything else. We did have it running momentarily earlier, just to verify that, or just to get the fluid to get sucked up into the converter and everything else, and then we added some more fluid to it. It may be fine now, don't know yet. Move this off of here. And it was run through the gears already, so I don't have to do any of that. Fluid level is a little bit low, still needs a little bit. It's down here, it needs to be up here. So we're going to add probably a half a quart. Let's see where a half a quart brings us. And the problem with transmission dipsticks too, when you're checking them, is the fluid sits in the tube. So a lot of times you get a misreading if you check it right away. That's about 2/3 of a quart. Like I said, sometimes you want to let it sit a little bit. Luckily, this dipstick tube don't have wicked curves to it and stuff like that. This one kind of goes at a pretty good straight shot down. Like vans and stuff that have a dipstick tube that start up here, run all the way back and then down, you go to check it, if you haven't let it sit for like 10 minutes or so, a lot of times you get a false reading and you'll think you're full or whatever, and you're really not, because it picks up the oil in the tube. Alright. It's getting there. It's below the hash mark now. So I'm going to say 1 quart in total is going to be good. Alright, we're going to let that sit for a minute, and then we'll check it. And I think we're going to get this car washed before we give it back to the customer. I got to road test it first to make sure that the transmission's good. Because you never know. You absolutely never know. I know it's only been about a half a minute. It's actually right in the hash mark, and it tells you don't add if you're in the hash mark. So I'm good with that. And also driving it will probably take it down a hair on level, but it should be absolutely fine. Because driving it as it shifts and everything else, and everything gets filled up, all the volumes get filled up in all the chambers, it'll draw it down a little bit. So like I said, we already did shift it on the lift, but we got to actually drive it now. So let me clean this up, and then let's go for a road test. Okay, so the transmission shifts fine. It shifts all its gears, no problem. It feels as expected. These cars are not fast. I know a lot of people think they're fast. They're not fast. Especially convertible automatics with 273 gears in the rear. They are not fast cars. This thing, if at full throttle, it'll shift out of first gear at like 50 miles an hour. So it's just the gearing's terrible in these things, and it rides like every single one of these things into the road. It's a convertible. Stick shift makes a huge difference in these cars, but what these cars really need is a set of 373 gears. And matter of fact, I haven't done a story time in a long time. I should do a story time and tell you about my 5-liter Mustang. That was my daily driver. Excuse me. That was my daily driver, and what the gear ratio change did to it in terms of gas mileage. Actually improved it. But yeah, so anyway, I'm just going to finish up the road test, get back to the shop, just recheck the transmission fluid, make sure it's good, and then we're going to give it back to the customer. Actually, we're going to get it detailed first. I think this car really needs to have a good detail. Make the customer happy. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Alright, hopefully you're getting something out of my videos. If you are, hit that like button. If you could, please subscribe. Alright guys, have a great day. Keep wrenching.